Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a video on why I think America is going to take its fall regardless of if President Obama goes back in or if we get Mitt Romney. Now, please note that these views are going to be from what I researched, my personal opinion, the opinions of others, and what other people have researched or experienced. One, I would like to say that I personally do not think that President Obama or Mitt Romney has the best interest for like either of us. I believe that they're both two evils, and I don't think that choosing a lesser of two evils is going to help our country in any way. For example, President Obama, the number one reason why I don't think that he really cares about our rights is because in 2009 he requested to indefinitely detain people without like right due process, without like questions, without charges, just to have that power. And that basically takes away our rights as Americans and our rights as humans. And for Mitt Romney, um Mitt Romney, I don't believe that there's ultimately anything wrong with choosing a religion, but from what one of my friends was explaining to me with Mormons, and if you study the Mormon religion, you understand that they have very out there beliefs. And she was explaining to me, she used to be in the Mormon church, and she said there's probably no way that he could have got that wealth and that power without the help of the Mormon church, on top of the fact that the Mormon church does have ties with the government. So once he gets that power as president, he's probably going to push the church's agenda and whatnot, which might not be what's best for America. Now, I will admit there are things that I agree with President Obama, and there are things I definitely agree with when it comes to Mitt Romney. But ultimately, will they be what's best for our country? Probably not. There are definitely a lot of pros and definitely a lot of cons, but I don't think that we should vote Democratic or Republican. There are four other candidates running, and I think that people need to take it upon themselves to research these people, research Joe Stein, research Rocky and whatnot, like figure out what these people are trying to offer to our country. Now, as to why I think America's going to fall, I think America's going to fall because we are not putting that time into education. We used to be one of the most powerful countries in the world, but it's like it's definitely fell. It's like we're not educating our people. We have so many people who are just eating unhealthy. Our country as a whole is unhealthy. The obesity rates is it's crazy. And then it's like we have so much crime. It's like, yes, there are countries that are worse off than us, but having the power and the connections and the money and opportunity that America does, it baffles me why it's like we're digging ourselves in a grave. And personally, I think that any president that isn't putting a lot of attention into education, he probably does not have the best interest in mind for the people. Because it's like once you fund education, that opens a whole door of new opportunities. The people will know, the public will understand. Teach children about politics, teach children about logic, teach children about the arts, psychology. Just teach children, because the thing is, a lot of people are under the assumption that children do not want to know, but it's within our human nature to want to learn, to want to grow. It's only natural for us. It's just that children are put into these schools and they're not being taught right, and they know that the people inside the schools may not care about them, and that hurts. And then being called stupid, ignorant, all these names, and then having to deal with bullying, it's very distracting and it's very destructive. It really baffles me how there's so many adults in the public school system who genuinely do not really care, and children can sense that they are not stupid. And I feel like if more money was putting into funding, so we would have teachers who actually care, who are putting this work in, who can actually afford to put the work in, because it's not fair that the people bringing up our children are being, they might have to get two jobs because teaching just isn't cutting it. And it's like we have outdated information, and we have information that isn't telling the whole truth, and then we're lacking. And then there's so much that we're not teaching students, and then we're trying to teach students lies. And it's like if honestly, I mean, of course you should always independently study, but if you don't put that effort into independently study, you're going to be lacking. You're not going to understand, you're not going to know. And honestly, I feel like the government just doesn't necessarily want to fund education because they are scared of losing that power. Because if you actually research how the public school system came to be, it didn't come to be so the poor and the middle class can rise up and be rich. It came to be so you could basically give the workers the basic education, the children of the workers, so they can continue on and be workers, and it's a vicious cycle. That's why you see poor people put their children in public schools and try to get their children into boarding schools or private schools, and then the rich, they put their children in private schools, but they won't put them in public schools 9 times out of 10, that is. And then you have to ask yourself, why is that? Why is it that one child's getting a better education because he has money? That's honestly not fair. And definitely, there's no denying, with education, a whole new door opens. You can have scholarships. You can you're just understand the world a whole lot more. And I think that's really a control mechanism. Like, you give the children of the workers a basic education, so that's all they can be, and then the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. And honestly, I feel like anybody who does not put that attention into funding education, you're just for making the rich rich and keeping the poor poor. Anyway, that was my video. I'm sorry if it's very long, and I'm sorry if you don't necessarily agree with it. These are just my opinions from what I've seen and so on. But this is all. Birdie Blue out. Have a wonderful day.